No one got to the level of insanity that Missy exhibited and exuded on a daily basis. She just started bringing her own style. She would get up on a podium with that crazy bouffant of her own.
I do have some titles: 2 World Cup overalls, 2 World Championships, 15 World Cups. Especially for the time period in mountain biking, I did really well.
She got a lot of, mainstream press, and I think, by being a woman was even more of a bigger deal, culturally speaking, because, she just was not like most other women. She was one of the highest paid mountain bike racers of all, cross-country or downhill. People started to understand that you could actually make a living at this, and a good living, actually.
I had a $1 million contract with one of my main sponsors. You have obligations like being fit enough to go do these events. It's not always easy. You have to really want to do this. Vail, Colorado, at the World Championships in 2001 is when I crashed, like gnarly crash, and had my brain hemorrhage.
In the 90s, it was the heyday, advertisers and everything couldn't get enough of mountain biking. The money started going away.
I needed to be able to actually, make more money than I was making at the time. There wasn't really lots of other opportunities. So I started slinging weed. There's not really a turning back point.
Thousands of pounds were being smuggled. It was so well organized. The marijuana was coming from the California area to New York. Missy's role was pivotal because you have the supply in California and you have this large-scale distributor in New York, and you need someone who's bold enough to take the risk to transport it across the country.
I obviously am good on dirt bikes and mountain biking and stuff like that. I was meeting people up in Canada, by myself with 100 pounds of weed on my back and dirt biking hours out of the woods. There were instances where I had to stop and bury my bike in leaves and lay there for almost over 24 hours. I was really underground. I had code name I went by. I never told anybody my real name. I tried to look different so nobody would recognize me. For the most part, it worked.
I met Missy in 2006 in Virginia Beach. I didn't know who she was. I didn't know her as a world champion mountain biker. I just knew her as this super vibrant personality who was like no one I had ever met before. It was 110 days between the time that we got married and the day that she got arrested.
The investigation kicked off on our end when we received a phone call from DEA out in Illinois, and there had been a traffic stop on a Ford F-150 pickup truck with a box trailer that was carrying 288 pounds of marijuana. We found out that it was intended for Melissa Giove, for her to pick up and to deliver to somebody in New York. We didn't know how many people were involved. At that point, we knew Melissa Giove, and we knew that, she was a mountain biker. She took possession of the Ford F-150 and the trailer. She ended up at a parking lot. We had surveillance units on it, GPS unit located within the box trailer. A 2008 GMC Sierra pulls into the parking lot, and we identify the driver quickly as Eric Canori. They chat for a little bit, and then Giove followed him in the truck. They're driving in tandem now, and they pull into a residence in Wilton. They're pulling out mountain bikes, and a dirt bike was in there.
I saw something in the trailer, and I was like, that's fucking weird. When I found out it wasn't a braking device, I was like, we're fucked.
At that point, they realized that there's a GPS unit in there. Canori jumps into his truck, she jumps into her truck, and they both pull out of the driveway and go opposite directions. She ends up going to this marina.
There's a river there. I'm looking at kayaks, and I seriously thought for a minute, okay, I'll put the dirt bike in a kayak, and then I'll kayak down river, and then I'll just get out in the middle of the woods somewhere, take off and get away. I wanted to run, but, it was gonna get back to me, so I just instead kicked back in a lawn chair and rolled a really big fat joint and smoked it because I knew I was gonna be arrested. They were coming for me.